Get ready with me while I talk about Magic the Gathering. This video is primarily for the people that I know in real life who don't play, because I have a hard time explaining it because without saying a bunch of crazy words you don't know, and for people that have never played but are curious about it. So I started playing kind of out of nowhere about 7 or 8 months ago. I quickly got obsessed with it. Me and my partner started playing around the same time, and having a shared interest definitely ramped us up and got us more into it than we probably would have been otherwise. And also starting to play with a play group that had been playing for years and was already playing more powerful decks. So, right off the bat, they were nice enough to let us be able to do stuff in our first couple of games. But right off the bat, we go, it's crazy how much cool stuff you can pull off in this game. We were kind of chasing that amount. And then for me personally, there's a lot of things that align with what I like to do that the game allows me to do. So that means stuff like the creativity. So the cards all say words on them. They all have types on them, and all of those things can interact together in a super neat way. So you can get really creative with designing something that you want to happen in your game by putting a couple of cards together in your deck. And it's neat that and I think I'm more drawn to the Commander format for a couple of reasons too, because it is designed to be multiplayer. So it's automatically typically a social environment. And then there's something called politics, which is basically manipulation, and it's really fun to do it that way. You make deals, you leverage stuff. And then also, as somebody who is creative, the art is also very beautiful. It's very well done. It's very interesting. And there's different layers to it. There's the original kind of gritty, beautiful fantasy art, and then there's newer sets that have cute, pretty art, and then there's beautiful nature scenery, there's beautiful high fantasy designs. There's a lot of cool things that way. And then also I really love to learn, because the game itself, it doesn't really feel complicated when you're playing it, but to explain it, I understand that it's complicated, and there's a million rules that intersect together. And trying to leverage all of that information to make the best decision in a game is really fun. And then beyond that, even if you're not even just learning how the rules and mechanics work together, there's also the aspect of the lore and the rich storyline that has been developed in the game that play out along the cards. But there's also books and podcasts and stories for every set that comes out, what the characters are doing in every set that comes out. I feel as a hobby, it really keeps my brain active in a way that other hobbies don't really. And I also like that I can it's something that my fiance and I can do together and spend a good amount of time where we're not on any screens. We are keeping ourselves busy and keeping our brains active, but not necessarily having to really take a lot of time or spend any money to do. I also like that it gives us something to look forward to pretty much every 2 months. And every time a new set comes out, we will go down to our local game store and we'll play in the release Two-Headed Giant. And we don't usually win, never won. We always... If I had to be more concise, I guess what I would say is that I really love the creativity. I really love how interactive it is, all of the decisions that you have to make, how the decisions and your strategy change constantly based on what everybody else in the game is doing. That's 3 other people. I like that even though there's a lot of decisions, it can be very overwhelming. There's the time that you have to slow down and actually make those decisions effectively, because it's turn-based and because you don't need hand-eye coordination for it, which is something that has held me back from enjoying typical video games. Anyway, I really would recommend it to anyone who's considering trying it out. So Follow me for more Magic the Gathering content.